Hello everyone, this is the second of the 3-part preparatory introduction to my series Getting Good at On-Foot Combat. Today I'm going to be going over movement control. This will cover both your mouse and keyboard controls. Okay, let's get on with it. I'm going to start by discussing your keybinds for on-foot combat. It's extremely important to get these right, but I'm not going to tell you what keys to use or how they should be set up. How your keybinds are set up is very personal to you. I could tell you exactly how mine are set up, but you would likely find them to be completely wrong for you. I use a Razer Tartarus V2 in my left hand and a Razer Naga V2 Pro in my right hand for on-foot combat. With these controllers I have a mass of buttons available to me within easy finger reach. This enables me to quickly activate everything that I need to. I can highly recommend having something similar to this setup for on-foot combat. However, I'm afraid that figuring out your own keybinds, which controls you put on each button, is a vital part of your on-foot combat setup. I will say, don't just use the default keybinds or copy anyone else's. Spend some time going through each and every option in the on-foot controls until you find controls that work well for you. Just pick a day and spend it sorting them out. It will benefit your on-foot combat gameplay no end. You need to be extremely comfortable with the controls. They need to feel natural to you. This way it's easier for you to remember where each control is when you need it. If it's where you might expect it to be naturally, then you are far more likely to find it quickly. I will point out that when setting up your keybinds, you need to know that they can be set up so that keys or buttons are used for multiple things. For example, I have pressing Q set to toggle my shield on and off, but if I hold Q, then that opens my on-foot menu. Another way of doing this multi-purpose keybind is by using Shift along with another button. So pressing F could be for one thing, and pressing Shift and F could be for something else. As an example of this, I have two of the top row buttons on my gaming keypad set to F1 and F2, which by just pressing they open the galaxy and system maps. If I hold F1 though, then that toggles my night vision on and off. If I hold F2, then that toggles my suit flashlight on and off. If I press Shift and F1, then my character does the point emote. If I press Shift and F2, then my character does the wave emote. Hopefully you can see how this way of combining press, hold and shift can be useful for having all the keybinds you need close at hand. Now you just need to spend the time figuring out your own keybinds. Wherever you choose to have them though, they need to be memorable and natural feeling for you. I would also recommend starting off with sorting the basics. First the standard movement controls, then the standard weapon controls, then the tool controls, and make sure you test each set out to ensure you're happy with them before moving on to more controls. Also, don't be afraid to switch things around until you are happy. When I set my keybinds up, I must have switched them around at least a couple of dozen times before I settled on the ones I have now. Once you have your keybinds set up, go and practice. I don't mean jump into combat. Find a nice quiet settlement and just practice moving around on foot. Try out all your keybinds. Make sure you are happy with them. If you're not, then make adjustments. When you're happy with your keybinds, the next step is to sort out your mouse control. Your mouse control needs to be precise for on-foot combat. For you to be able to aim well, then your mouse sensitivity needs to be adjusted correctly. Before we start adjusting your in-game mouse sensitivity, it's important that you don't have your Windows mouse sensitivity set too high and that you have mouse acceleration turned off in your Windows mouse settings. I have my Windows mouse sensitivity at 1000 dpi, which is just right for me. Try to keep yours as low as you can while still being usable for you in Windows itself. Mouse acceleration messes with your aim. You won't be able to have consistent aim or be able to complete the sensitivity exercises if you have it turned on, so make sure it is turned off. The first thing I do when I am trying to sort out my in-game mouse control is to make sure my in-game mouse sensitivity is right. How I do that is I find a quiet place that has some kind of straight structure or parallel lines that I can follow. Then I run up and down like this, doing a 180 in a quick, smooth twitch motion. I consistently move my mouse the same amount on my mousepad to do the turn, using the amount of movement that I expect to use to turn 180 degrees. I then use the structure around me to see how accurate my 180 degree turn has been. If I find that I am consistently turning too far in game, then I turn my mouse sensitivity down. If I am consistently not turning far enough, then I turn my mouse sensitivity up. Note I'm turning up or down my in-game mouse sensitivity, not my Windows mouse sensitivity. I keep testing until I am happy with my consistent turns being exactly 180 degrees. This then gives me a good footing for my mouse control. My next exercise is to test out micro aiming. This is the fine aiming, like when you are targeting hostiles at long range and you are moving your aim from one head to another. In those circumstances, you need very accurate and fine control over your aim. I test this out by finding 2 or more small points close together at a distance and then trying to snap my aim from one spot to another. I do this several times with spots at different distances apart. Normally, I find that my initial mouse sensitivity adjustment from the previous exercise is enough to ensure I have the correct sensitivity for this exercise. If not, then I adjust my mouse sensitivity again and redo the first exercise, then do this exercise again until I am happy with both exercises. The next exercise is for adjusting tracking with your mouse. Tracking is when you are following a distant target with your mouse. This again needs to have fine control for you to be able to follow a target's path accurately. I make sure my sensitivity for tracking is correct by finding a structure like this with an undulating outline. Then I aim at a start point and I follow the outline of the structure, like so. I do this several times in different directions and at different speeds. Hopefully my sensitivity should be where it needs to be by now to be able to follow the outline accurately. But again, if not, I will adjust it and try the tests again until I am happy with all 3 of them. The next exercise is for twitch aiming. This is when you have 2 or more targets around you and you need to quickly twitch from one to the other. To test this out, I find a spot where I can pick out 2 or more targets to aim at, like this and this. Then I aim at one and try to quickly twitch to the other, going back and forth between the 2 targets, taking note of how close I am to being on target with my twitch movement. I do this both with hip firing and with aiming down sights or ADS. If I find I am coming up short on targets a lot, then I need to increase my mouse sensitivity. If I find I am overshooting targets a lot, then I need to decrease my mouse sensitivity. By this point, I would expect my aim to be on target. If it's not though, I will adjust my mouse sensitivity again and restart the exercises from the beginning. Once I am happy with my twitch aiming, I will then move on. The next exercise is one that I call dance aiming. This is where you are moving around a target, often circling them, and you keep your aim on their head. This is how I keep my aim on getting so many headshots whilst I'm dancing around a target like a crazy man. A station concourse is a good place to practice this. First, you need to pick a target. This can be anything from a stationary NPC to a column or even a flower pot. Anything really that is stationary that you can aim at and move around. Then you just start moving around the target. I like to start this exercise with circle strafing around the target. This is the kind of movement I would be doing around a target when I am in very close quarters to them. I strafe left or right whilst keeping my aim on the target, which creates a circling movement around the target. I switch from strafing left to right and back again, trying to keep my aim on the target, in this case the NPC's head. At first you start off slowly strafing and then speed up as you get used to it. Then you can start to try circle strafing at different distances. Eventually, you should be able to circle strafe targets at any distance quickly and easily, keeping your aim on target, like this. Once you are happy with your circle strafing, you can move on to more advanced movements. You can combine vertical movement with circle strafing by finding a target to aim at near stairs. This way you have to adjust your aim vertically at the same time as horizontally, making it even more challenging. This kind of aiming comes into use when you are in combat around stairs and is well worth practicing. You should practice this both from a position of being down the stairs as well as being above the stairs. The final exercise is a game of targeting everything and anything and then seeing how well you can track it whilst moving around yourself. This is an exercise that I still do all the time. When I am walking around a station or my fleet carrier or a settlement, I am always randomly tracking things with my aim. I do this because it's great practice for tracking targets in combat, and it helps keep my aiming skills up. Once you have all your keybinds down and your mouse aim is just right, then all you need to do is practice, practice, and practice some more. The more you practice, the more you will get used to your keybinds and your mouse movements, eventually getting to the point where it all just becomes muscle memory and you don't even have to think about where a button is or how to circle strafe a target, you just do it. Well, that's it for this tutorial. If you enjoyed the video or it was helpful, then please do hit the like button, as it will help the video get seen by others. In the next episode, I'm going to be covering navigating the combat environment. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. Until next time, see you out in the black, Commanders. 07.